Well, I am back and I've definitely missed every single one of you. Welcome to the Friday night episode of the Blitz Pickup. We are live, we are here, and we have so much to get into. First and foremost, I loved what the guys talked about when it came to our rookie class, our UDFAs. They definitely held it down. Oh, and shout out to the Tampa Bay Lightning while we at it. And shout out to the Anaheim Ducks while we at it. Anyway, get into things that are actually important and relevant. We have rookie minicamp upon us next week, and it's going to be so exciting. Today, the guys are going to talk about their expectations, and then we definitely got to get into which unit, what position groups need to step up the most going into this season. So, Tony Lou, let's get to it.
Vicinity was good, man. Welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we miss you over here. You know what I'm saying? We was going a little crazy. Wasn't nobody to hold us back. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I loved it. It was entertaining.
It got a little heated, you know what I'm saying, a couple of times. But hey, man, I think they enjoyed it though.
Oh, always. They always love it. They always
Lou,
love
what's
it.
good? I see he's back to Lewis. I don't know if you noticed that. Lou, what's good, Lou? Oh Lord, did we lose Lou?
Was it something I said, Lou?
No. It's nothing you said for insanity. I can't hear Tone for some reason.
You can't hear me?
I can't. Whatever he's saying, I can't hear him.
That's a guy. Are you trolling or are you for real? He's lying. I know he's lying. He's lying.
All I'm saying is he better be lucky I can't hear him.
Oh, so you're being that serious?
I'm being dead serious. I can hear you fine. I just can't hear Tony for none in the world.
Oh, Lou, probably leave and come back. Or do you want me to leave? Well, no, you got to leave and come back.
I don't know, man. Maybe I'll try. I'll leave and I'll come back. Let me see if that works.
Try it.
Well, way to start me finally coming back, you know. Oh, and listen, thank you guys for the prayers. Really appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Definitely needed every single last one of those. I really appreciate you guys for looking out for me and allowing me the time to get back to where I needed to be. Tony.
Hold on. Let me get something. Let me try to.
Oh, go ahead.
Let me try to fix something on Lou's end. Give me 1 second. Sorry, y'all. We do it live, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing is pre-recorded. We here.
All right. Mic check. Can you hear me now, Lou?
Loud and clear, man. Loud and clear.
All right, there we go. All right, now we got it. We got it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they got rid of him out of that one though. All right, now we can rock. Vicinity, go ahead.
Okay, so starting next week, our rookies will finally report, and then rookie minicamp is going to start. Let's start with Tony. What are you looking forward to? Like, what are your expectations for these rookies in the UDFAs coming into a rookie minicamp?
The number one thing that I'm looking forward to will be the versatility. Now I don't know if y'all been over here. Of course, y'all been over here the past couple episodes, and you know, Sully has been preaching versatility. The reason that he picked some of the guys that we felt like they were, I'm not gonna say overdrafted, but you know, that they went a little sooner than we initially thought they were going. He said because of their versatility, especially more specifically Proctor, Chris Johnson, and Lewis, right? So also Jacob Rodriguez as well, but we don't think he was, you know, he that wasn't a reach by any stretch. However, the rest of them, that's how he justified why he picked them where they were. Even though double it down, said even if he was at 11, if they had to pick at 11, they would have picked him there over Bain and Vega as well. Now it's kind of crazy because you know y'all already know, they already explained that they're gonna move him to guard. You know, right? So that's already one comparison that we're gonna be comparing him to Vega, how he play at guard. But see, I said this last episode, I'm gonna repeat this today. Because you're versatile, you have to be good at those other positions, or it isn't going to be good for us. So that's one of the number one things that I'm going to be looking forward to, which is how these guys are going to be filling in roles, and will it be multiple roles, especially Lewis right there, because they say he's going to play big nickel. He said he wants to play linebacker. So let's see if on third down packages, things of that nature, will they use him or keep him on the field? Will he become a three down player? Also, Jacob Rodriguez. Somebody I forgot who it was, but they made a great point as far as all of these teams. I mean, all our players are technically on the same playing field when it comes to defense, because we're going into a brand new defensive scheme. So even though Jordan Brooks, Tyrell Dotson, Zach Sealer, and everyone else that's been here already were on the team, it's still going to be their first year in this defensive scheme. So I'm looking forward to see if Jacob Rodriguez can get him a starting position with all of his versatility. That's what I'm also looking forward to. Or anyone on this defense. The cornerback, well, we already know the cornerback going to get it, but the linebackers, the edge rushers, and Jacob Rodriguez, I'm looking forward to seeing if he's going to be able to, let's say, take up that second linebacker position alongside of Jordan Brooks, because we know Tyrell Dawson is a green dot, and we already know Jacob Rodriguez, he's going to be a green dot, a former quarterback, leader of the defense. That's the role he played at Texas Tech, and now I think he has a fair share to actually take a starting position. Because again, we got to remember the guy that was already here. These aren't their guys. They just drafted their guys. So I think all of them going to have a fair opportunity to get a starting position, and I want to see if they take advantage of it. So those are a couple of things that I'm looking forward to going into rookie minicamp. Also, I know we have to wait till June 1st, right, before this come out, but I want to see if we have any, let's say, second round guaranteed money disputes this year because of Jacob Rodriguez, and I know a lot of people had a first round grade on him, so maybe he's going to be one of the ones that feel like he deserved to be, fully guaranteed. So let's see how that plays out. But those are just a couple of things that I'm looking forward to and going into rookie minicamp. And one last thing, I want to know if some of our veteran players are just going to show up voluntarily. If they show up voluntarily, then that'll say a lot about the direction this team is going into, and also how they feel about earning a spot on this team. So those are a couple of things that I'm looking forward to going into minicamp.
I guess it's on me now.
Yes, sir.
Well. See, Finsanity, I love how my brother be doing up here. He mentioned all the guys that, again, we're all excited for. The two guys he mentioned are the only two guys I really want to see. Pick 75 and pick 87.
I didn't mention them. You mean that I didn't mention?
You didn't mention.
Okay.
You mentioned all the guys we all excited to see.
Yeah.
Now, I'm excited to see two, 75 and 87. That's who I want to see. I want to see the guy that was a UDFA wide receiver that we picked at 75.
You still with the UDF,
I'm just telling you what they told me, Tone. They told me he was probably going undrafted. That's what they told me. So I want to, hey, Finsanity, is it wrong of me that I want to see a UDFA wide receiver at pick 75, what he can do?
No, I'm right there with you, Lou. I'm definitely there with you. Go ahead. Keep talking. Keep cooking.
I also believe we should be the only team in rookie minicamp that every time we hand off the ball, it should be an automatic touchdown, no matter where we are on the field. Because with that generational tight end creating great holes, right, we shouldn't miss a beat. So while Tone is up there watching the offensive line and defensive line and Jacob Rodriguez, I'm gonna be calling my brother. Hey, what's pick 87 doing, Tone? hey, Tone, what's pick 75 doing, dog? You know what I'm saying? That's all I want to know. So listen, I don't want to keep saying the same things. I think Tony has some great points. Those are my two main guys, though. I'm going to be on 75 and 87 ass.
Wow.
I also want to see, I know we're talking about rookie mini camps, but these rookies are not coming in for insanity and tone to coach themselves.
Mhm.
Right.
What have we been talking about this whole time? That they sound good.
Mhm.
I will be asking my brother what that coaching staff looks like. Because I remember when Vic Fangio was here, my brother came out and said, man, Vic Fangio, he had to, if that coach didn't like the way they did it, that coach made them go back and do it again.
Mhm.
Ain't that what Hafley been talking about? Don't
Yep.
tell me how great you want to be. Show me. Okay,
Mhm.
well, while I'm also looking at all these rookies to perform, I need this coaching staff to perform. I need to hold that coaching staff to the same standard. So listen, there's a lot of guys, we'll get into it. But that's my assessment. Really, it's Caleb Douglas. It's Kazmarek. I want to believe I'm saying that right.
Yeah, Cass Merrick, that's his name. About time you got it right.
Oh, well, I want to say something else, but this is YouTube. We can't say that over here. You know what I'm saying?
I already
The
know
man
what you
got
about to
the man got a nickname, Tone. You know what I'm saying?
No, you don't.
But listen, there's a lot of guys. Kyle Lewis is intriguing. And then from the
Kyler.
UDFA perspective, I want to see what Lewis Moore can do, the safety out of Indiana. I think when we look up, and I think the running back from Texas A&M, A Chain's
Oh, yeah,
Moss,
that's who I'm looking forward to. Go ahead.
Moss and Lewis Moore and,
Davion
and
Moss.
Finsanity, I'll throw it right to you. I think
Hold
those
on.
are two guys from a UDFA perspective that probably is going to make this 53-man roster. If I had to say right now. Now, again, they got to earn it.
Yeah,
But just looking at it from afar, I would say those are the two guys that I think have the best chance of making the roster.
Tony.
And I wanted to add one guy that I forgot that I also want they're gonna be paying attention to is
Is it
Max
Taft?
Llewellyn, the
Oh,
DN at
ooh.
7. Because remember, we need edge.
Seventh round
And
pick. Yep.
you watched him, kid look, the young man looked like he got something. You know what I'm saying? Nice little spin move. A lot of people they need to pump their brakes on the Dwight Freely comparison, like relax, like calm down. Then one of them, somebody even said TJ what you call it? TJ Watt, like, bro, relax. But watching him, I'm like, oh, okay. He looked like that could be a great value pick in round 7 that can have an opportunity to get a lot of playing time. As you can tell, I said that they didn't spend a lot of draft capital on edges. You understand? Like, as if, they value these guys to be able to come in and contribute right away. So that's another guy that I'm be looking, paying close attention to. I just wanted to throw his name in there as well.
Okay, so for me, I would love to see what I'm going to kill this. I'm going to kill this young man's name, and please do not hold it to my heart. I've just been out here being me for the last couple of days. The safety, is it Michael Taft? I don't know.
Taft, yeah, Michael
Michael
Taft.
Taft.
Mm-hmm.
From the looks of it, I'm intrigued. I'm not going to say mind blowing, blows me right off the field. But to Tony's point of versatility and to Lewis's point of coaching, let's see if we can get out of that young man. Absolutely. Le'Veon Moss is definitely on my list because you guys know I adore a running back coming from wherever, mainly power. So I don't necessarily think he fits that mold for me, but I'm very intrigued if what he can do, coupled with what maybe Ali and Jalen can do, does this now make someone a little bit more enticing in the open trade market? I mean, as if we don't, I mean, the money got to talk, right?
Yep.
So, if we're going to go UDFAs, right? I want to, put it all out there. Le'Veon Moss is definitely the UDFA that I'm looking forward to. I love Lewis Moore.
Yes.
This is going to sound crazy, but me personally, we need depth. So I don't think he'll make the roster, but I would love to see what he does. Jim Boniface. I think I'm saying his name right. He's an offensive lineman. It is what it is.
UDFA?
Yeah, he's a UDFA.
Okay.
Jim Boniface. I'm just offensive lineman. I'm just trying to, be a little bit versatile and stuff like that. We'll see what he can do. He's supposed to be a center from Iowa State. Very much interested in him. And then I think we do have another. Did we get another running back signing for the UDFA? Am I correct about that? Hankerson or something like that? I don't know.
Is the guy from Boston College, the tackle, was he a UDFA as well?
What's his name?
Yes, Boston College. Yes, he was.
Yes.
The Boston College offensive lineman. I've heard his name is escaping me right now, but I believe he was a UDFA as well.
I do believe what you're saying. Yes, I heard. I think he was though.
What's crazy about him, from what I heard, he was there when Hafley was there.
I heard that too, but Hafley was okay. So was he a freshman? I'm trying to figure out how was he there when Hafley was there. That's what I'm trying to look at.
No, because Hafley left Boston College to go to Green Bay, correct?
Yeah, he was at Green Bay for 2 years.
Yeah, so that kid had to be a freshman or whatever. That had to be one of the guys. That had to be one of the first guys that Hafley brought into the program.
Mm-hmm.
Could be. Beyond, yeah.
Okay. And can I give my last offensive lineman that I will be looking forward to seeing? DJ Campbell. He was actually drafted.
Yeah, he was. Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to see what's the dynamic of DJ, an offensive guard, versus UDFA and that type of competition. Who shows up, who puts the pads on, who goes to work. So to Lewis's point, definitely looking forward to the coaching and seeing how they really coach up these rookies, the toughness. Obviously, the name that we would all love to see out there, I don't think we're going to see him until maybe later on down the line. And Tony, maybe you can speak to this. Chris Bell, when would you expect to see him to be able to be actually on the field? I know he's running and stuff, but to actually do drills, practice, and all that. Like any estimation? I know that the report came out said maybe by the beginning of the season, but do you think this could be a potential training camp sighting for Chris Bell?
Well, yeah, most definitely he's going to be a sighting in the training camps. He's way ahead of his schedule. Like you just mentioned, he's already running 18 miles per hour. He will be ready. Actually, well, he's already projected to be ready at the beginning of the season. He's projected to be ready at the beginning of training camp.
Okay.
But as we said last episode, in the Sully's interview, he said they were going to slow play it. They weren't going to rush him in, into the game or rush his projections because they want him for the long haul. They you know what I'm saying? They'd rather be safe than sorry, so to speak. So I'm not expecting him to have a large role. I expect him to be very, very cautious with him to make sure, even if you're ready to go in training camp, he still might be 80 to 85%, ready to go. And from what he was saying, they're going to make sure he's 100% ready to go and still be a little cautious with him because they believe that he can be one of the top receivers and top players on his team going forward in the future. So they're being very careful with him. He mentioned that, and because he mentioned, I do understand that he's already running, he's way ahead of schedule, but we're still going to be careful with how they progress him going forward. That being said, I do believe he's still going to be in minicamp and training camp participating, just probably on a limited basis. That's what I'm assuming and I'm projecting.
Okay, Lewis. During after a certain name was, selected at number 12, and we all kind of had a moment, specifically me. There were, some reports about, the guy's mentality, self-start, and motivation and all that. With you speaking of coaching, how do you think the coaching staff can maybe diagnose or see where Kaden Proctor's mentality is, because it's only the rookies out there, right? I mean, the competition is like, you're not going to see that until the other guys get out in training camp and all that, and maybe voluntary or mandatory mini camp that's going to be coming up in June. What do you think we could expect to maybe even see, if anything, out of Kaden Proctor so early in the process of his rookie off season?
Well, I want him to come in. I think he's going to be in shape. I don't think that's going to be an issue. If I listen to what Sully was saying about how he pre-draft brought him in, talked to him, had him on his couch, kind of listen to what Kaden Proctor had a plan and a vision. I don't think his weight is going to be an issue coming into training camp. Plus, we know it's going to be hot down there. So I think he'll be able to lose that weight or shed weight or get into shape. I came across a video, though, and Finsanity, I think it'll be a perfect question to throw back to you. I seen a video of him at Alabama, and he was on the sideline, and he was laying into multiple players on that sideline. If you're asking me what I would like to see from Kaden Proctor, that's what I want to see from day one. Mm-hmm. Go in there. If that's because Finsanity, Tone, we say it all the time. We talk about mindset over here.
Yes.
You are a first round draft pick, number 12 overall. And again, these two guys, Sully and Hafley, you're their guy. They made you their number one draft pick.
And the whole entire regime.
Out of the entire regime, Tone, Finsanity, they made that guy. Mm-hmm. If he feels that mini camp that some of these other rookies are not giving it all, because what we did hear about this kid, Finsanity and Tone, was once he gets in the building, he's the hardest working in the building. Absolutely. That's what they said. So from day one, if that's his mindset, that he comes in here and he's ready to go day one, and he don't see nothing up to par, I want to see that. And I'll be asking everybody, and especially when training camp, I'll be asking Tone on a day-to-day basis, what's Proctor doing? Is he holding his unit accountable? Is he holding these guys accountable? So when you ask me specifically about Kaden Proctor, that's what I want to see. Come in there with that mindset. Let them know early, I'm the guy. Right? Because they put that faith in you. So just from not only for him to be good, but hold everybody else accountable, especially in this rookie minicamp. You're the guy you're the number one, right? So go out there and prove it. Go out there and earn it and hold everybody else accountable.
And guess what? Yeah, and guess what? That speaks to what everyone wasn't saying about this young man. Everyone said all that stuff that Nick Saban said prior to the draft.
Right.
Without adding in the context, that was only his freshman year, like we said already, and he's been in shape for the rest of the entire time. Lou, you just alluded to it. Sully just told you he's already in shape right now. You know what I'm saying? He's 375 solid. I don't know if they want him to play around 350 or between 350 and 375. I think that's where they want him to be, whichever one he's more comfortable. And then obviously he already spoke to his mindset about how he took that personal, how he didn't like it. And then there you go, Lou. You have an example of him actually being a leader, him actually doing the things that we've been asking for the players on this team to do ever since the past 6 years, which is govern yourselves. You understand? Coach, hold each other accountable. And you said he already has that ability. He has already shown the willingness to do that. And that's what we've been talking about over here, as far as we don't want no one to tell, like, it has to be natural. Because if someone has to tell you to do that, you can't make someone be something that they aren't. You just can't. And the fact that that's naturally his character and naturally who he is, that's what we were looking for. So I'm not gonna say forget about it, but aside from the fact that we felt like there was a better guard because they're gonna put him at guard, he has everything else, which is the mentality, the physicality, the approach to the game, and honestly, he seemed like he have a chip on his shoulder and a point to prove. I'm loving everything about that aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? And especially because I know he hear it, right? And
Yeah.
that's why it's good for us to come out here and say the things that we say, because you know, if they don't hear it over here, if they don't hear it on another channel, they don't hear it in the media, everyone is saying it. Oh, a lot of the fan base wanted Vega.
Mhm.
How are you going to take that? Are you going to hold that chip on your shoulder and prove everyone wrong? Because those are the type of guys that we want in his locker room. We want them with that type of mentality. And so far, so good. He seems to be that type of individual. So, yes, that is one of the major things that I'm looking forward to him. And especially, you know, in the rookie minicamp, you know, the natural leaders to raise the standard or set the standard. Now, I'm not going to say raise. Set the standard. Well, okay, we're all business. We're going to take everything serious like it's day one of the regular season. I want to see if they're you know, conducting themselves in that manner as well, especially him, because you are technically the guy when it comes to draft. Like Malik Willis, you were their very first acquisition of the regime.
You're their first draft pick.
And you're what did they say? They drafted you to protect their asset. Sonny Bird. They focus. So now you are the guy. And let's see how you handle that. And is it a natural transition from the college to the NFL when it comes to a leadership standpoint? But yeah, that is something that I'll be looking forward to and looking closely at and doing, well, not mini camp, but in training camp as well.
Yeah, fully expect him to be the first one in the room when they're, you know, going over the playbook and all the verbiage and stuff. And I fully expect him to know that playbook. Kaden, do not let me down, Roll Tide. Speaking to another leader. Hey, why is it every single time I say Roll Tide, we get this look? Like, I don't get this.
I was wondering that too, Vincent. I seen the same look. Yeah.
I'm not a Bama fan. Like, come on, you know who you signed on. Come on. You was there when the ink went on the paper. And it was, you knew. You know it's Roll Tide. Listen, we haven't gotten there. August is going to be a very interesting time because we're going to have training camp. We're going to have at the end of August the start of the college football season. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great time to be alive this year. Speaking to that, we have another potential leader that I know that you guys see the potential in this young man, and he was one of the first picks that we were actually excited for. Tony, can you speak a little bit more on Mr. Rodriguez from Texas Tech?
Well, he was actually the first pick that we were excited for.
Yeah.
The first two, we weren't too much feeling it. Even though, you know, after doing homework, I was like, I understand, but now they have to prove Sully right. Like I said, don't let Sully down, you guys, because he put his trust into you guys. Don't let him down. Now, to Jacob Rodriguez, you hear nothing but raving reviews about this guy.
Absolutely.
From whoever talks about him. Look, Luke Kuechly is one of the biggest cosigns you can get. And he co-signed his mentality and the cerebral approach that he takes to the game. And now, if anyone know who Luke Kuechly is, you know his biggest asset and the thing that he brought to the game was his cerebral approach. He will call out plays and diagnose plays before they even hike the ball. You hear quarterbacks talking about how they were shocked and surprised how he would call out every play, even their audibles. And for him to come out and speak on Jacob Rodriguez in a matter that he spoke on him about his mental approach to it, because he already showed us he's the playmaking. He gave us reasons why he's a big playmaker. He gave us a reason why he seemed to always be in the right place. And you know what? The turnovers. You know what? One thing that jump out on the film when you watch Jacob Rodriguez, typically players that create a lot of turnovers, they have a lot of missed tackles, right? He perfected the punching at the ball, the Peanut Tillman punch, while still maintaining perfect tackling form. Just go watch him. So even if the ball don't come out, you're still getting tackled. I think that's a very great skill set to have. And so you add that to him being smart, him always being in position, and him also maintaining not integrity, the fundamentals when it comes to tackling. You know, I think that's a great thing to have when it comes to a linebacker. And then his leadership qualities, I think it goes without saying, we do expect him to be one of the leaders in the building, starting off from day one. You know how that quarterback always get that. Just because you're the quarterback, you're expected to be one of the leaders of the team, and especially the offense. Well, you could say the same thing about middle linebackers. So him, he actually played quarterback, and he's actually been the green dot. So he have both those leadership qualities and played both of those roles. And that's a plus for him, to where he understands a lot, and that will help him pick up on, offensive schemes, or what the offenses are doing in the league a little quicker than the average defender. But I would say this about defensive guys. Defense is easy to translate. It's way easier to translate defense to the NFL than it is offensive scheme, because there isn't as much verbiage, right? There's only certain things that you could do on defense. You just a little wrinkle here and there. But with offenses, you could change verbiage. Even if you're running the same type of offense, the verbiage is going to be different. Why? Because former coaches go to other teams and things like that. So I think that benefits him, as far as him being able to get acclimated to the game sooner than later. And again, I'm going to point this out again, that will help him out to earn, even if it's not a full-time starting role, but a major role on this team when it comes to defense, because they're all starting a brand new defense together. So he's not behind the 8 ball when it comes to players that have already been on his team. But yeah, that leadership quality, I am expecting him to, for sure, just easy transition to the NFL.
I'll say this about Jacob Rodriguez, going into rookie minicamp. There was a story that came out after the draft of, at the Senior Bowl or whatever.
Yep.
Kyle Lewis, a guy that, again, plays a position, they're linebackers, right? So Jacob Rodriguez was not only coaching Kyle Lewis, teaching him. Tone, you brought up the punch out, the turnovers, the Peanut Tillman and stuff. What's impressive about Jacob Rodriguez, the draft hadn't even happened yet. That's a guy you're competing with, right? And you're out there trying to help him for him to get better before the draft even happened.
Great point.
That goes to leadership right there. I have no question that Jacob Rodriguez, just like I said about Kaden Proctor, I think Jacob Rodriguez is another one from day one, walks in there, and especially at this rookie minicamp. And I don't want to say flexes his muscle, but lets it be known. A guy that is going to establish the culture of what the mindset of the Miami Dolphins is going to look like, right? If a kid is willing to help out another kid at the same position before the draft, that shows me a mindset of he's not worried about anything, right? He's not worried about competition because he's very comfortable in his mindset. He's comfortable in his abilities, right? That's what I got when I heard that story about what he did at the Senior Bowl for Kyle Lewis. So, from a rookie standpoint, I think just like what I said about Kaden Proctor, I think Jacob Rodriguez, I think we'll look back a couple years from now and this is a pick that will solidify Sully as, hey, man, this was a really, really good draft pick right here. I think this is a kid that now there's some questions that I do have about Jacob Rodriguez. Don't get me wrong. I think, maybe the size can get to him in certain spots. But overall, do I think Jacob Rodriguez is going to be a really, really good player? Yes. And the thing I will never question about Jacob Rodriguez is his mindset. I think he has the right attitude. And we talk about it all the time over here. The natural born leaders. Jacob Rodriguez does not seem like a follower to me. He seems like a guy that people gravitate to him. And as long as he keeps up that mindset and that work ethic, I think the Dolphins will be better for it. So again, that's a guy that I'm looking at rookie minicamp to hear nothing but glowing things about him once he steps foot in that building.
Yeah, and I think guys like that, which they help and don't worry about, I'm competing against this guy. You said it best. They're comfortable in their skin, but they understand in order to be the best, you have to compete against the best. Right? And when you go into the league, all of these guys are the best. So People with that mindset were like, oh, I'm not going to help him because I don't want him to do better than me. No, I want you at your best because I want my best to measure up with the best and for me to
1000%.
understand what level I'm on to compete on that level. And that's just naturally for him. That came naturally, I'm sorry, for him. And that is a great, great mindset to have. And it's a positive for me. And I'm like, I love that that mentality because he's showing that, listen, I want you to go out there so I can compare myself to, okay, am I on that level? And someone always pushing each other or pushing himself to be better. I want to compete against the best because I want to stay and maintain that level of competition and preparation for myself. I don't want people to come in here and be like lackadaisical or don't have the same amount of tools as me because I think what we say, steel sharp is steel, iron sharpen iron. So you have to have that mindset to survive in this on the highest of the highest levels because those are the type of guys you're going to go up against. And the only way to be able to always compete against those guys or get the one up on them is if you go up against or you are being pushed by guys that's also on that level. So you are used to maintaining that level of competition and skill set that you have to continue every day. There's no days off. What we said about it, all the great teams, they say, man, listen, the toughest part for us is in practice. So when it turns to game days, it's easy. So that says a lot about that mentality, right? Yeah, I need you to be at your best because that's who I'm here to compete against.
Wow, y'all just really killed that segment about Jacob Rodriguez. I was just over here writing down notes and everything. Hey, gonna be looking forward to it. Maybe might even go out and get his jersey. To Dave's point, what numbers he's wearing, I don't know. We don't know, but allegedly, he's the number
10 or 13. I think they're both available.
Right, where is he at?
Well,
Someone
not
said in
13.
jersey sale like number
Not
2.
13.
So crazy. That is crazy, mind blowing. But yes, we have so much to look forward to going into this rookie mini camp. All the reports that are going to be coming out of it, we're definitely going to dissect, really get into it, and review it with you guys and let you know our opinions on it. But the Miami Dolphins, after going through free agency, after going through the draft, and then we will have, some things to do, post June, some holes were filled and it was done in a way where we're like, okay, we might be able to see the game plan. We definitely want the competition. We definitely want versatility. Lewis, let's go back to Lewis. Which position group do you feel like needs to step up the most?
Are you talking about just from the rookie standpoint, or are you talking about overall like units on the team? Like when everybody gets in the building?
Let's start with rookie, and then we'll
rookies.
circle back. Let's start with the rookies, yeah.
Wow. What unit has to show up more from the rookies? Well, for me, there's only two. 'Cause we drafted 2 wide receivers, obviously Caleb Douglas and Kevin Coleman. And then linebacker with Rodriguez and Kalu. I can't say corner, right? Because we only drafted one.
Yeah.
Am I
Second,
I mean, but he's a
Am I
first
wrong?
round pick. No, he's a first round pick. He should be considered a starter. So wouldn't you say that he needs to step up?
Oh yeah. Well, listen, I think every rookie has to step up, especially again. I'm just gonna go unit. I think I'm gonna stay with the linebackers though. I'm gonna stay with Jacob Rodriguez. I'm gonna stay with Kyle Lewis. I'm gonna stay with Trey Moore out of Texas as well. That gives you that kind of versatility. I know that he has some pass rush and some edge. He's also a little hybrid, little plays linebacker as well,
yeah.
depending on 3-4 whatever alignment, however you want to call it. I'm gonna say them. I think with Halfley, and again, I think the game plan for Kyle Lewis is playing a little big nickel, even safety at times, this, that, and the third. I think, and with the versatility of a Jacob Rodriguez, Tone, you brought it up, him being an ex-quarterback, knowing kind of where quarterbacks want to throw in the zones and stuff, where stepping into like passing lanes and stuff. I think those two guys specifically, I think Hafley is going to really have an imprint on those guys, right? I think those are two guys he's going to lean on in his defense. We all know Hafley is a secondary guy. And with some of the things that they can do, I would say from a unit standpoint, I'm going to go with those two guys as a unit, linebacker core, and even, you know, I, hell, secondary. But listen,
Secondary.
at the end of the day, Kaden Proctor has to show up. To your point, Insanity, the corner has to show up. They all have to show up. I mean, that's just the easy answer, right? But I'll be honest. Caleb Douglas at 75, he has to show up. I know, hey, people getting their feelings all they want. He has to show up, and a lot of people are showing like highlights. You've been seeing these workout videos and stuff. Yeah, it looks like Jalen Waddle. That's what it looks like. I don't understand why people are so hyped with these videos that I've been seeing. He's running routes against open air. Yeah, anybody looks good on open air. There was a lot of people that said he has problems getting off of press covers, though. When you get physical with him, that's where he has problems.
Yes.
So when he's running these videos and against open, no one's guarding him, this, that, and the third, yeah, I'm sure he looks good. He looks great. I would say, for me, it's Kaden Proctor, Chris Johnson, Jacob Rodriguez, Caleb Douglas, and Cal Lewis, specifically those guys, because I think those guys are the ones that are really going to play a lot of snaps in year one for the Miami Dolphins. So I would say they, as a collective, y'all like that word collective, right? As a collective, those are the guys that need to step up for this team to have some success, especially in year one.
Right. I guess it's on me. Okay, so you said this already, Lou. Kaden Proctor is a given. But we're talking about unit. So he's the only one on that unit that I think it will be a rookie starter. At least that's what it's how it's projected to be. But I think you kind of started hitting the nail on the head towards the end, because I look at it from this standpoint. Units that we are in desperate need of, right? Came into the season. We lost both of our top wide receivers. Both of them. Gone. We lost our whole secondary. Starting secondary, all of them gone. They said they liked it. They liked a lot of the people in the building. Cool. You know what else position I think needs to step up the most because we have a big need there? I thought Lou was going to say it. Tight end, my brother.
That's where I was going. Just
tight end. We only have Dosage, who's coming back from only a one year. Right, so I think
but we have our generational tight end.
Yeah, that's the unit that needs to step up, the rookie, right? So I think if you look at it, edge for sure. But if I had to say the number one position if I had to give it like a grading scale, or let me say a list from highest more importance, number one would be I believe the receiver room, because that's where we lost the most. Now I know they brought in Tober and Tutu Atwell. Yep. Okay, cool. But neither one of them has ever been a number one receiver. Neither one. And plus, that's two receivers. And I don't think maybe Tober, but who's going to play the X? Right? Yeah. The receivers have the opportunity to start, like literally legit starters from day one. They need to step up. Chris Bell, I know you're coming off injury. That's cool, but Caleb Douglas, big body frame. What they said, big body frame, good blocker. That sound like an X to me. Speed down. So yeah, that position is the one that needs to step up the most, because that's probably going to be the position that we need the most to step up when it comes to the players that we already have on the roster. And then circling back around to it, secondary. Yeah, Chris Johnson, we don't. Who's our starting cornerback receiver? Who's our starting returning cornerback? I'll wait.
Well, Storm Duck.
He wasn't a starting quarterback. Both of them gone. Jack Jones and
Well, I'm just saying he was, before he got hurt though, he was penciled in to be a starter. last
Correct.
season.
Correct. And that still leaves an open spot that we don't have. Right now, the people that we feel like have the most capability of stepping up and entering themselves a permanent position when it comes to playing time. I believe we both could say the linebackers. Right, Proctor is already a given because he's the number one, but the linebackers, because of the versatility that they have, I think they are going to get the most playing time, and they probably are going to step up the most. But the unit that we need: wide receivers, cornerback, tight end. For sure, those units are the ones that have to. That is an absolute must step up, because Sully said it. Don't expect no big names in a free agent this year. Don't expect it. He was like, "There's not going to be a name that you write home for." This is out of his mouth. It's not. This is not me speculating. This is exactly what he said. I don't think there's going to be no one of noteworthy as far as splash names or big names. They're going to be more along the lines of depth pieces. That's exactly what he said. He called them depth. So the guys that he bring in, or that he's intended to bring in, would be more specifically for depth. Oh, my bad. So I think that says a lot to where, if you look at what we have already on this roster, wide receiver, there's going to be at least a minimum one that has to step up, because they're going to be a major role there. Minimum of one. Because you're not telling me that Tutu Atwell and Jaden Tober are going to be your X and Z. Not going to happen. Tutu might be a Y. So, again, I think that's from my mindset. That's where I'm going with it. And listen, they want to be a physical team. They also want to protect Malik Willis. They keep saying this every opportunity they get to say, well, we want to bring in guys to protect Malik Willis. Kaden Proctor isn't the only one that they brought in to protect him. Also, McCormack, too. So, Cash Merrick, I want to call him Cash Merrick as well. They brought him in because of his elite blocking. The thing that Lou been killing them on, the one-trick pony. That goes with protection too. The quarterback protection, you have to be basically like a sixth offensive lineman out there, which he technically is if you watch him block. So those receivers, or tight end receiver, are the biggest one. They have the most opportunities to step up, and we are going to rely on them this season. Yeah, we are. For sure, hands down. So, for me, those are the guys that I'm looking for vicinity or units. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and to just piggyback off of your point real quick, Tony, you had a guy in Jalen Waddle on your roster. You purposely, or maybe not purposely or unintentionally, left him out of the names of your core players. You then circle back and said, we are going to get Malik weapons. We all had names. These are the guys that we have, right? We have Douglas, we have Bell, and you have Coleman, right? The ones that are drafted. We don't know if they're going to do anything outside of what we have right now, and the guys were brought in through free agency. Yeah, you need to step up, because you're the only options we have out there right now. Like, as far as rookies, we can't go back and redo it. So yes, when you have the opportunity and it's there, yeah, because you're who they're banking on. You are who they have signed, because guess what? No matter what, it is going to be, we had Jalen Waddle. If you don't show up, we had him and we let him go. And it is what it is. I understand, the contract and all that type of stuff. You're trying to move on. You're trying to get bigger, more physical, 100%. But when you have a player that is Jalen Waddle, let's be serious and let's be honest here. For what it is, he is talented. He was one of them ones when he was on the field, But you took a big chess piece off the board. A big chess piece off the board to go and get these guys. So definitely wide receivers and definitely tight ends for me, because my whole thing was, when he said that, he said we were going to go get weapons. And the reason why I was pushing for a wide receiver to potentially be on the big board was because you said we were going to go with weapons. Well, these are the weapons that we have, and this is what we're going to get to see. I know such and such had maybe some quote unquote issues with drops at times, whatever. We're gonna get to see it, live. 17 games going into it. You had something to say, Tony? Go ahead.
Yeah, you want to know what else is? I think it's interesting is I want to know how many of the guys that are already on the roster, like just when you was talking, I was just thinking about Theo Weiss, Taj Washington, Malik Washington.
Mm-hmm.
How many of the guys are going to make this team? You understand? Like Jaden Turbo and Tutu Atwood, they bought in.
Right.
Taj, Malik, Theo Weiss, y'all was already here. They also brought in Terrence Marshall Jr.
They also brought in Terrence Marshall Jr. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what I noticed? You want to get, Theo Weiss is the only one I believe, I'm trying to look it up as I talk, right? That fits that mold of 6'1", 6'2", right?
Oh.
No, Terrence Marshall is like 6'4.5". So
but they brought him in. I'm talking about the ones that are already on the roster.
Oh, the one that was passed here. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was already here. So I'm looking at it now. Taj Washington, 5'10". Malik Washington, 5'9". Whoa, right? Theo Weiss, you are 6'2". So I was right about Theo Weiss. So, and you look at the guys that they brought in, the only short guy is the guy that obviously, if he gets on the field, he's going to be at Y. He's not going to be at X or Z. He's going to be at Y. He's going to be the slot receiver, and he's going to be a return man. Who else don't fit the mold and is a return man? Malik Washington. But I do think eventually he's going to make the team. But I think Taj Washington's job is in serious jeopardy. He's one of the ones that I'm like, And then when you look at the Theo Weisses of the world, it's like, okay, you 6'2", but we just drafted a 6'4" guy, right? We brought in a 6'2" guy. I'm not sure. Just don't. Hey, just for food for thought for people to pay attention to. The guys that was already on here, a lot of them may not make the team. May not. Just keep that in mind. So when I'm speaking of there's going to be a lot of opportunities, I'm assuming that these guys and projecting that these rookies are going to be on the team. Make the 53-man roster basically. But yeah, so I just wanted to add that point in, Vicinity. Go ahead.
Oh no, that was a great point. And thank you for mentioning that, because we're definitely talking about the rookies, right? And we're talking about, the mindset of competition, right? And I'm pretty sure like these guys are looking like, hold up, they're bringing in trees. They're bringing in palm trees down here. Like they're bringing in some, guys. And I mean, yeah, like, of course, maybe you can get in on special teams or whatever. Like, oh, I need this guy on special teams. I want him to be my returner. But like when that 53 gets cut, man, sometimes it's like, and what did he say? He wants size. Size doesn't get small, but speed gets. Anyway, thank you, Tony. See, look at that teamwork. Lewis, back. I feel like I've been going to. No, I went to Tony last time, right? No, I went to Lewis because we were on this subject. Right. Tony. Back to the coaching, right? There's a key importance in here, right? Because when these rookies show up, right, they have been given the playbook, correct? Yeah. And it is about coming in and knowing what you are to do, what your assignments are. They practice, in a sense of quote unquote practice of what they can do, right? But it's that classroom that people don't really talk about, where you can absolutely shine. How much of the verbiage do you know? How much of the playbook do you know? And stuff like that. Out of these rookies, who do you project? And I know this is going to be so hard, but who do you project to be the most classroom ready and can actually like lead those conversations when they're talking about the breakdown of the playbook and everything that comes with it?
God damn it, I like the way you do business.
You know what? I'm so glad. That was one of my questions. I was like, if she don't ask this question, how at the end, I'll be like, well, I want to ask y'all a question. that is one of the questions that I was hoping that was going to be asked, or I was going to ask about not necessarily the way you said it about
Yeah.
who I think is going to be ready. So I'm gonna answer that first, and then it'll transition to what I wanted to get answers to, which is I believe clearly, hands down, Jacob Rodriguez. That's on defense. On offense, right? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, because one thing that we haven't figured out was, and I didn't pay attention to, but I felt like we needed to, which is I was going to, in shows coming up, and shout out to you mentioned the 53-man roster. Y'all wait for that. Y'all know we do our annual 53-man roster initial that we predict who's going to actually be on that roster. We hitting on a high percentage clip as of late. But that is going to be a great measuring point with how these guys start. Are they going to have a head start when it comes to training camp on the veterans? What we do know, now I don't know if Slowick is going to keep it there, but it has been told that the offensive line is kind of difficult to get down. Remember that. Even Teron Armstead said that. So if Slowick doesn't dumb it down, I'm gonna need Kaden Proctor to come in the most ready when it comes to the class work, because you already have your work cut out for you when it comes to getting out and doing all the things that's going to be expected of you. So you have to have it already down packed. So I'm not sure who's going to actually be on offense. The more ready, when it comes to the classroom, but I know who I absolutely need to be the most ready when it comes down to the classroom, and that is Kaden Proctor. Because Kaden, my brother, your versatility, I think they're going to use it, right? And I think we don't understand the nuances and the ins and outs of, you have to do audibles on the line as well. If they rotate a linebacker down, that changes your assignment. Your assignment switch. If he rolls back, your assignment also switch. These are when they say, y'all, you know this term that defensive coaches use, or matter of fact, just coaches in general use, with simulated pressure. It's fooling the offensive line. Make you think we're coming from here, but then we're going to come this way. Make you think we're blitzing, but then we're going to back out. You understand? So when it comes down to protecting our quarterback, Kaden Proctor, my brother, you absolutely have to be down packed when it comes to the classrooms. Now, let me, just add that in, since we wound it down to the part that I wanted to focus on, because I know you do the players and then go into coaches. Hafley already addressed this part about getting players ready. I don't know if y'all remember. Remember, he said it gives me now, about the time that we get in training camp, that would be the third installment of the playbook. Most teams only have the one, maybe two, but they'll be on installment 3. And he said the first time it's just a whole bunch of things rattling around in your head. You just trying to grasp everything at once. Everything, just as much information you're trying to retain at once. The second time around, you start to familiarize yourself with the terms, with the concepts, and it starts to get easier to you. So once you get around to that third part, I think if he does the way he said he would, every last one of the rookies should be at the top of their class when it comes to being mentally prepared in the classrooms by training camp. So I'm glad you asked that, and I wanted to point that out because that's another thing that Hafley specifically said. That's one of the ways he liked to teach and train not only the rookies but the veterans all. And that is a last thing. That is another reason why I was like, I want to know who is going to voluntarily show up in these rookie mini camps just to get a grasp and a head start on learning the playbook. So great question for Sandy.
Yeah, defensively, I think Tone was spot on. It's Jacob Rodriguez. It's not even close. I think from him being a quarterback. We know he's very, very smart. You listen to Luke Kuechly, he said it. You listen to Zach Thomas, another one that spoke about Jacob Rodriguez, he said it. Everybody says it. So off defensively is Jacob Rodriguez. I can't believe Tone said he didn't know offensively.
I did say I know who offensively.
Yeah, and then you try to sweep it up and you said Kaden Proctor, which again is valid. I get it.
Is the one, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I'll tell you the one that's going to be for sure the most ready though. It's Kazmarek. and I'm gonna tell you why, because he got the easiest job in the building. All you got to do is hit the person in front of you. That man don't have to know. He got the easiest job. All you got to do,
bro, you know what?
Tone. If you line up in fullback, when the linebacker hits the hole, meet him. That's all you got to do. If you the 6 offensive lineman, hit that little chip block, release to the flat, catch that 1 yard pass, and go down. He got the easiest job offensively. So, Finsanity, I'm not going to be as long-winded as Tone was, because I think I don't want to step on Tone's shoes. But no, Kazmarek is going to be the most ready offensively. He got the easiest job in the building. Hit somebody. When you see someone moving, just hit them. That's all you got to do.
Well, you know what? It's just not. Now, I did all that teaching and telling you about the ins and outs of the difference between rotating just for you to throw my dog under the rug, under the bus, talking about all you got to do is hit the man in front of you. Nah. So
Finsanity, did I not make my point, Finsanity?
I heard a point.
That's all I'm saying. That the man got the easiest job in the offense, Tone.
So he don't have to read defenses either. His assignment doesn't change.
That man don't need to know the playbook.
It's a
Hey, Lou, hold on for Sandy. First of all, by the clip that you showed us, Lou, that goes to tell you, yes, he do have to know because we got a video of him knocking his own player out. So maybe you do need to know who
that goes to the point. If you see somebody, just hit them. Don't worry, just hit them.
No, put somebody into somebody.
You need to know who to hit. Exactly. Who to hit. You just don't go out there. Boy, this boy, yo, Lou, I think he gonna spend his whole, well, I'm not gonna say the whole season, because when the season starts, Kazmarek gonna put you on notice, my brother. But I think he gonna find any opportunity to take a shot at my dog Kazmarek. Shout out to Kazmarek. He's going to be the most ready. You know what? Now I'm going out on a limb and say Kazmarek gonna be the one that's most ready.
Oh yeah. He gonna be the most ready. He gonna walk in day one for minicamp. He gonna say, "Coach, where's the playbook?" They gonna hand him shoulder pads and a helmet. Just say, "Go out there." just go out there.
Yeah.
They gonna hand that man some shoulder pads and a helmet. Just say, "Hey, just go to the field, dog. Don't worry about none."
Oh boy, all right, bet. I can't wait to see my dog do a pull. You know what I'm saying? Doing some what you call that? Reverse pivots and coming back and blocking across the formation. I can't wait till he show you all the ins and outs. And then don't let him get 450 to 500 receiving yards. Oh man,
you talking about like what, for his career?
This year. There you go. This year, let my dog get a couple catches. All right, I got you.
Well, no, he gonna get a couple. Well, a couple is two. A couple is 2 catches.
If he give me 5 touchdowns, I'm gonna be unbearable. I tell you that. Unbearable. At the tight end, yes. You don't think? Do you think that's too low? Or you don't think he's gonna get 5?
King Mill, just go to the field. Just go to the field. Here's your helmet and shoulder pads, dog. Just go to the field, King Mill. That's what it is.
Your playbook is out there. The man in front of you, C-man, hit man. Boy, I tell you. Don't worry about it.
You said you had a question.
Me?
Yeah, you said you. Or did my question encompass what you wanted to bring up?
Well, no, that's why I said I'm glad you. Basically, that's the question that I was one of the looming questions I was going to ask. What are y'all thinking about? Hafley saying that he has 3 installs and he used that to his full advantage to help them to where once they get to training camp, it's full speed ahead, live running, because they already got the mental aspect of it down. And now once you get to the third, he called it the third phase, which is actually putting what I'm translating what you saw in the books to on the field. You understand? So that's was the question that I wanted to ask you. Do you think that do we think that Hafley is going to have these guys ready like he told us he would in one of his interviews this year? So that's the question that I was going to have.
Yeah, listen, again, a lot of players got to be ready. Uh, Coaching staff has to be ready too.
Yeah.
Because at the end, listen, at the end of the day, we got to be honest with ourselves too. Our offensive line coach, the first guy we brought in from Houston, what was Houston's main problem last year offensively?
Offensive
Outside
line.
of CJ Stroud,
Sure.
their offensive line wasn't good last year. That's who we brought in to be our offensive line coach. The assistant to that man, I don't even know who that is, but the assistant is Matt Applebaum. Anybody remember Matt Applebaum? We already fired him once because he was trash. So now we brought him back. There's a question mark there. Bobby Slowick as the offensive coordinator. I know Finsanity Tone. A lot of people hated Mike McDaniel. It's not about Mike McDaniel. Bobby Slowick has 2 years of being an offensive coordinator. People say 1 year was good, the other year they say was bad. So again, there's a question mark there. Jeff Hafley. I know he's been a defensive coordinator for 2 years and some stints other places. He has to get this defense up and running too. So I know we're gonna talk about the rookies and the players that and we which I always say it's always about the players on the field.
Yep.
I do have questions about some of this coaching staff as well, though. So they got to be ready as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask you, Tone, for insanity. I got a question. I've made the point of when Chris Greer was here, and I seen some of those teams that he put together. Right? I was like, oh well, Chris Greer's job is done. Right? Tone used to push back on me a lot, saying, well, that's not Finsanity. On the last episode, me and Tone were talking about it. And it just seems like Sully is still doing a lot of talking. And I brought up the point I would love to see Jeff Hafley kind of step into his own now. I'm going to ask y'all. 2-part question. Do y'all think Sully has done his job? And do you think Hafley, again, I'm not asking for playoff victories or division titles yet, right? I'm not asking that for year one. But do you think Sully has given Coach Hafley a good foundation to start with? And do you think he has enough to get these guys just to compete? Let's just use the word compete. Do you think Hafley or Sully has done enough in that aspect?
Me up Finsanity first.
Whichever one y'all want to go.
You want me Finsanity or what?
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I would say yes, absolutely. One of his biggest statements that he made at post draft was he got his guy. Chris Johnson was his guy all along, his favorite player, the one he couldn't wait to coach. So from that standpoint, yes. I know y'all going to say Jacob Rodriguez, amazing. Kyle Lewis, amazing. So from a defensive standpoint, yes, I think he gave him more than enough to be able to compete. And they said they like, a lot of the pieces that we already had in the building. Offensively, yes. You brought in Malik Willis. You said you wanted to be physical. You brought in a physical tackle. You brought in, guard now. You brought in Kazmarek, and you brought in both receivers that you brought in. Well, the first two that you brought in were the ones that were the most physical and the two best blocking wide receivers in his draft, which I think that's exactly what you wanted to have your offense running. So I think, yes, at least now you said to compete. Compete doesn't necessarily translate into wins all the time, but you can be out there being competitive, right? And we can tell just by looking at them. Are they out there competing? Do they have at least enough talent to compete with any team in the league? Because it's any given Sunday. And I believe with the guys that they brought in, yes, I think more like the offensive line for sure. We still got A-10. Let's see if they get the job done. And, outside of you trading away Waddle, I think this team is basically constructed, I'm sorry, in the manner that we expected it to be constructed this year if we would have kept Mike McDaniel. And we would have expected him to compete. Let's just keep it 100. We knew Tyreek was going to be gone. We thought Waddle was going to be here, right? This is what our assumptions were. But no one here, Lou, and I think you can attest to this, no one in this community was willing to give Mike McDaniels a pass and not expect him to compete. So, yes, I believe he did got him enough to go out and compete. And Sully, yes, he's done his job. Is it done? No, because he still got, free agencies, still got to see how they mesh together. But as far as what we was expecting for our GM, yeah, you had a plan, you executed, you doubled down on your execution. So now it's up to the players to yield you the results that we'll be looking for. And I think we could all be honest and say our biggest thing that we want this team to do is compete. I don't think anyone has any outlandish expectations for the win-loss, which I think, we might do that next episode Monday. I might give out first what we think with the guys that we brought in before, right? We even see them in training camp. What is our initial, win-loss projection going in, and then we'll do another one. But as far as competing, yes, and I think Sully have done his job.
Yeah, absolutely. You bring in a quarterback that your head coach is familiar with, that has shown leadership qualities. You bring in, like, you stood on your word. You went and you got weapons. You went and got size. But yeah, to the point of it all is like when we talk about a lot of the players and stuff, the mentality, the mindset, the ability to compete, the want to compete, right? Even having truly that option, right, outside of the quarterback room, because we know and understand who QB1 is going to be. Everyone has an opportunity. Fair game. Show up, do what you got to do, learn, compete, still build the brotherhood, but like make each other better day by day by competing. Now, to Hafley's point, yes, it's about establishing the mindset, the leadership qualities, like you said, when the players that you see it within, and like the ones that you have to pull it out of, that have that capability but might be shying away from it, and allowing this team to grow organically through the draft, through their regime of the players that they bring in. There's a reason why the names that we brought up that we could potentially see coming out of it is guys that they don't know too much about. Like, they can look at the film and stuff, but they don't know what their mentality is and how they're going to show up to work yet, right? They've had a chance to talk to these guys. I'm pretty sure, transparent with them and said, hey, listen, this is what we see it as. You do, quote unquote, have an opportunity, but you might have to blow our socks away more than this guy. It is what it is. It's a business. Hafley, for everything that he has said in his press conference, in his interviews, I think you have multiple personnel there. You have guys that truly are buying in, because why else would you show up when your quarterback holds and calls and says, hey, guys, we're going to go work out together, and you guys actually show up and you take the time out your day? You said you want guys that you're going to establish your culture with. It starts with you. You said you don't want to throw out these words and you want it to come organically, and you guys build your own, I guess, motto or mantra. So yeah, go ahead and show that you can do that. Why? Because one, you got draftable players. You got guys that you guys both wanted. You said the versatility is there. Go out there and show it, prove it. It is what it is. Also, it's not built in one draft. Like, for any fan to think that this is going to be built 1 year, no. But to compete, that is a mentality. That is a mentality. And everything that Hafley and Sully have always been about is, what is your mentality? Yes, we want the size and all that, but we need to know what your mentality is. We want football guys. If you love football as much as you have said to us, go out there and show us. We are going to coach you up. He said it. These practices aren't going to be easy. They literally want to see who they can break. If that doesn't make you rise to the level of competition or being able to compete throughout the season, I don't know what will. Because you got to make it at least, right? You got to push through. And listen, they're going to cut the dead weight. They will. They're going to see who's weak. They're going to see who's not cut out for their regimen, for what they want here. So, Hafley, balls in your court. I do think Sully did his job for what he is working with. It'll be very exciting to see, years later. But for year one, trying to establish a culture, trying to establish that, to change the soft mentality, to come and say, yeah, we're going to have tough practices, we're going to have hard. That's on you now. You can push these young men, you can push these veterans and stuff, because I feel like a guy like Jordan Brooks longs for that type of stuff. I think guys like HN want that competition, want those tough practices. They want to win. They want to be a part of that. Now, whether that is long-term or not, we'll see. But I do believe what you have here is the ability to do that, because for what it's worth, ain't no divas on this team. And I don't see a single diva on this roster. So go ahead, go out there, push them, let them compete, and may the best man at every position win. And I'm the one competition I want to see. Where does Jacob Rodriguez, when he gets to training camp and gets those veterans that are in there? That right there, his mentality. I know Brooks and Dotson and all them already are those dogs, but to have another dog coming in there, it's going to be very interesting to see that dynamic. And that, I'll tell you right now, that linebacker room, that's one of the ones I'm most interested in seeing, because you got dogs all up in there, and it's going to be who pushes each other to that point. That's all I got to say. Go ahead, Lil.
Oh no! Again, I'm with both of y'all. I think again, I love the way y'all answered that. I do think. Again, I'm not. I want to clarify. No, I don't think playoff competing or division competing, but I think this was a good foundation for Sully and the coaching staff. And again, that his words, not mine. He is a coach. He loves coaching. Okay, well, you got a lot of work to do, my friend. But if you can do it with what I see on this roster, that I would say again, it's starting to take shape. I don't think it's a finished product by no stretch of the imagination, but I do think there's some pieces on it. As long as I see progression and I see that he's able to coach. Yeah, again, I think for at that point, yeah, I agree. I think Sully kind of did his job. Especially, listen, let's be honest, they didn't have a lot of money to work with. They had to make some tough decisions. They don't have a lot of money to work with. So overall, from that standpoint, I think they did Sully did a pretty good job, I would say, at least. Now, I do think he reached and there was some misses, but no one is ever perfect. But I agree with both of y'all. I do think they have enough. They just, players and coaches, now it's on them. They got to put it together. So, but yeah, I agree. I think he did enough.
Oh yeah. Speaking of reaches, well, I ain't gonna say off topic. Did any of y'all see the Eric DeCosta interview when it came down to drafting and big boards and where they draft their players? I'm not sure. Did any of y'all see that interview?
Eric DeCosta, that's the Baltimore GM, right?
The Baltimore Ravens GM. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens GM. I don't know if y'all saw it. If y'all haven't seen it, right?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, so I'll give just a summary of what he said. Couple cliff notes. He basically was saying that now it seemed like teams are drafting the Baltimore Raven way now. When it comes to where they draft players, he was like they were the first ones, and he used them drafting Vega at 14 when typically you don't draft guards that high. And he did reference, I think it was Tyler Booker last year that went that high, where you typically don't draft guards that high. And he was saying just from the standpoint of drafting these players based on where you guys graded them off, not based off what it was the consensus, right? And he brought gave an example of a couple of mistakes that they made. Was like, oh, we had this guy here, let's say at 35. But the consensus was that this guy would be going in the 100s, 120s, or something like that. And he said, and for that, he made the mistake that they waited and just expecting the guy to fall closer to the hundreds than where they was in the 35. And that player ended up going where they had them graded, not to consensus. And he said that taught them to just grab the players based on how they have it on their draft board, not the consensus. Do that change our mindset about where we saw a lot of, because let's be realistic. Coming out of this, and this is why I believe he was asked the question. Coming out of this draft, I think the consensus around the world and in the league was that majority of these GMs, there were a lot of reaches, right? Do you think that at least change the mindset of saying, well, these GMs are not being like, we don't care what consistency is going. We're going to draft these players where we think the other GMs have them graded, and it's usually closer to where their draft boards are, not the consensus. Do that change our mindset about how this draft turned out to be just a little bit after he came out and said that?
I mean, for me, it's one out of 31 other general managers. So I would love to see if the other 31 general managers, Tom, felt the same kind of way. Do I understand what he's trying to say? Yeah, I get it. It's just hard, man. Do I believe that a general manager, Tone, or an organization, if they, like with Kaden Proctor, Sully came out and said with Kaden Proctor, it didn't matter who was on the board, they were taking him. Right? So that goes to Eric DeCosta's point. Like, it don't matter what others said or whatever, because I don't think anybody else had, at least us, we didn't think Kaden Proctor was going that high. But Sully said, hey, I'm throwing conventional wisdom out of there. I'm taking my guy. Right? So I get it. I think in certain situations, I would lean towards that. I got to be fair, though. I don't think, with that being said, I wouldn't have took Caleb Douglas at 75. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think two things can be true. I think it's hard to even answer that question. They had conviction on Caleb Douglas. I just didn't. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't think that's the right formula. All I've ever been taught about the NFL draft is it's about the value of where you can get certain players, right? It's always been that way. And now in 2026, it seems, and I said it the other day, Tone, I don't know if you agree. I've been saying it, I don't even know if you heard it. I think the league is going so analytic based, right? That a lot of this draft, it felt like analytics. Like, all I keep hearing about these certain players, and especially in our fan base, is, well, I love the players because of the size. You do realize that you could be 6'5" and be trash, right? 6'5" doesn't make you good. Like, just because you run a 4.3 doesn't make you good. The greatest wide receiver in the league ran a 4.6. You do know that, right? And Jerry Rice, he didn't run a 4.3.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm saying is, well, I'll answer your question like this, Tom. Do I understand what Eric DeCosta was saying? Yes. Do I agree? I would probably say no. I don't agree with that.
So, I'll say this then, because I do agree with him. I agree 100% with him. Let's go back to, we can't go back that far. But can you remember any draft? I'm talking about one draft where the way that draft goes was nowhere how the consensus went. At every draft that you have the consensus where people are going. This is how high they are. This is how low they are. This is where these guys are going. It never pans out that way. Ever. He had never, since I've been watching football, those drafts has never failed the way the consensus thought they would fail. Players never go. You always have to, wow, like for instance, Ty Simpson. No one would have said he was going 13 outside of, Dan Orlovsky. But no one's saying that. You right? No one had whatever that tackle that Detroit Lions took at 17. No one had him going that way, going that high, right? But it happens. Messidor, you had some people saying he was a second, third, bottom of, the first round. He goes, in 22. People didn't know where Ruben Bain was going to go. Oh, they this and that. He goes 15. The Shador thing. Chris Johnson for us. How high what's his name is the first tackle came off the board? Fanu. Things that, like if you if you just look at how these boards drop, and then we was doing the draft. For the life of us, we didn't understand why the safety man, God dog it, what's the safety name? That was sitting on the board this whole time. We was like, yo, he's there. Why is he still sitting? Wheatley was there.
Kilgore.
Jaden Kilgore. Brown, bro, you can't find me a draft on ESPN, on nowhere. Everybody mock draft. You can't find me a draft that had him going that low. You can't. He went that low. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I do get that, because when I start looking, they was complaining about Jacoby Thomas. Why is everyone had him going 4th, 5th, 6th round. He went in the 3rd, at the top of the 3rd, actually. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, me and you last year, Nick and Milwaukee. And he went in the 2nd round. Malachi Starks, we thought he was a top 15. He went at 24. So when I look at it from that standpoint, I'm like, maybe, and last but not least, how many times, not just our GM, every time, for the most part, you interview these GMs, all of them typically say the same thing. No, it fell around the way we thought the board was going to fall, based off the information that we was being given. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe that could have something to do with, a lot of people, because who they really get their information from? The scouts. One thing that led me to say, you know what, might need to look at this differently. Hafley, how him and Sully became friends. They were scouts for different teams. Scouts for different teams. So while everyone out in the media was saying, oh, well, I'm getting worried that they have this high, this high, Sully and Hafley was comparing what they graded out these players. So I do believe when they say, well, based on the information that I'm getting, I believe this guy was worth here, or I had him here, or I felt like it's here, which goes to the point of no one can answer. Well, I ain't going to say answer, but you have to look at, why is it that we have these teams that say, oh, I have to jump this team to go get that guy? Maybe because they understand based on the scouts and what's coming in. Hey, listen, I was out. You don't think he would let me? I was out here in Buffalo. His scout, he was very high on this guy, higher than we were on him. So that might be a possibility that we have him at, let's just say 30 or 35. But I'm thinking if Buffalo get a chance and they're picking at 24, they might get him. So we might have to jump Buffalo to go get them based on what their scouts were saying. So to me, I tend to believe that a lot. Now, do I agree with the assessment of it? No, because sometimes I feel like I don't grade these players as high as a lot of people that get paid, and that don't mean they're always right. But I do agree if you have a guy that outside of the consistency saying, no, that's a 5th round wide receiver, but all the scouts are coming back telling you, listen, man, I don't think he's going to get past the 3rd round. I think that does happen a lot. I do believe it. I'm gonna be real with you. I do. Vicinity?
Yes. So let me get back to the original question, Lou, right? Because you're the one who asked this. You said, no, sorry, this was Tony's question. You said, do I feel like teams are drafting more like the Baltimore Ravens?
No. Do you? Well, so based on what he was saying, when he was saying that the consensus typically don't be right.
Right.
That's why you see a lot of these teams drafting players. Like I just gave the example of,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, how they took a guard, and then last year Tyler Booker went, at 12, right? Didn't he go 12?
And
Booker
shout
went
out
12
Roadside. Yep.
last year, right?
Mhm.
High typically guards don't go that high. And then a lot of, like Ty Simpson, no one expected him to go that high. But GMs, I guess, they have the inside, and their book board is never the same as the consensus. That's why you see a lot of guys going higher or typically sometimes lower than what we expect them to go based off the consistent information that's out there. So I was wondering if that changed your mindset of maybe, these guys are grabbing people because from the inside, the information that they haven't, they don't think that he should be, like, let's just say the guy that we picked, right? Caleb Douglas. The whole world thought he was like a fifth round pick, but maybe the GMs around the league and the scouts didn't have him that low, just because he was on that consistent big board. I was just saying, how do y'all feel? Do that change your outlook on maybe we shouldn't put a lot of emphasis on where we think they are, and as opposed to calling it reaches all the time? Oh, they reach for him. They reach for him. You could have, what we say, man, you could have got him in the 5th round.
Right. Yeah, I mean, obviously they there's a little bit of insider, understanding within it, right? You see who shows up to different pro days, who shows up, who they have come in for, workouts, what workouts do get released and, publicized and stuff like that. Because like, for instance, the Rams and Ty did theirs extremely privately, right? It was noted that it was privately because of how they felt, and they didn't want potentially a team understanding how high they were. But, you put out other stuff. Yeah, at the end of the day, you have to make those tough decisions in real time, right? It's a lot that goes into it. We talk about when there's potential runs of players. We're like, this where we felt like we had a bigger pot, now smaller. With the way that they drafted, did I understand it? No, but when you guys, summarized it as they got the guys that they wanted, and the players that they wanted, and that they believed in, and they saw something in, then hey, you just got to chalk it up to these are your choices, these are your decisions. But yeah, absolutely, because if there is someone that you absolutely, I guess, value, and you can see the potential, and you feel like they're going to be more boom than bust, then yeah, you take that chance. It is what it is. It's about your evaluation, right? That's what we, at the end of the day, evaluate you on, is on your evaluation of the players when you get them, right? We might say, oh, that's considered a steal when you think of Chris Bell and what he would have been pre-injury, and we're like, oh yeah, they went and got him. We're excited about that. You go and you get a check, you're excited about that. But the other names, you're like, but maybe they did see something potentially there. And yeah, obviously what other teams are thinking definitely plays a part in what you are going to do. Like I said, it's all read and react to what's going on, and it's as black and white to me as that. Like, yeah, if you feel like he's a guy that you absolutely, yeah, go ahead. We may call it a reach, but once you make that pick, it's tied to you, and yeah. That's all I got to really, like, I don't want to like reiterate y'all points because y'all made such amazing points. I don't want to just keep reiterating it, but yeah, that's what it comes down to. Absolutely. Because it might not, like for instance, right? Tony and Lou, let's speak to about like this, right? There are so many players, right, that you guys will point out before other people even looked at that player, right? You're like, oh no, we like this guy more than the big name over here, right? And you guys having a keen ability to go and find that talent. Shout out to y'all, kudos to y'all, because you guys have done it consistently. It's not like a 1-year thing. This is a consistent year to year to year. People watching, and it's always interesting to me that after you guys go live and mention these players, we start seeing these names pop up. not only within our community, but also on major platforms. And they're like, hold up. And I'm like, these guys are, oh yeah, but people have to see certain things at combines and stuff like that. Those things, when you guys were like, yeah, we just looked at the tape at these guys and we saw it. We didn't need quote unquote measurables. To Tony, your point, we looked and we saw, in Lewis's point, these are football guys. When we look at them play, that is a football guy, right? It's no different than when y'all do it, right? So what y'all see, and when y'all do y'all actual homework, because you do your own homework, you don't, you know, what's the name? And what is truly beautiful about y'all is that if someone will mention a name to y'all, you'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna go check that kid out. You don't shun anyone, you don't overlook anyone, you actually take the time and be like, and then you go back to that person and be like, well, this is what I saw. So the follow through is absolutely amazing. So obviously, the GMs have all their scouts and stuff doing this too. So while we can correlate it to this, when Tone and Lou say a player's name that isn't being mentioned, and then another platform starts saying that name, well, then obviously someone did their homework on the homework and heard something and said, oh, now we value this at this because of this. And it's crazy how some of the points line up. It kind of comes off as plagiarism with a little bit of editing, but you know, it is what it is. We're not going to call people out. It is what it is. And this is why you should definitely get your pre-draft evaluations from the Blitz pickup.
Facts.
Preview on it. But like, that's how I could literally correlate it, because y'all don't just go off of, oh, who they feel like should. And the thing about it is, y'all look at them and they'd be like, well, nah, we like this player more. And you're calling out a player like last year, like crazy. The two guys that you guys were biggest on, part of and contributed majorly to a Super Bowl winning team. And they're rookie years.
It's crazy.
Both of them. And were people on them? No. Were they top 10? No. But guess what? As they started to move up, all then people. But who was on it before they were looked at as that? Tone and Lou. And we're going to get to see this year who rises to the cream of the crop from the guys that we had. So that's the best way that I can, make the connection and how I'm seeing it in my brain. Absolutely. When names get thrown out there and stuff like that, you then go and you do that homework. You just like, oh, well, what could they be possibly seeing that I missed, or maybe didn't even think about, because I'm not as in depth to it. And I mean, get it. It's a lot of players. It is a lot of players that get drafted and that you have to evaluate before and create this whole seven rounds, man. That's outrageous. And sometimes you do make shortcuts. It is what it is, because the time consumption of it. But what you and Lou do, that's the best way that I can give it to the people so that they understand. So yeah, absolutely. That's my answer. There you go.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. And I just, wanted to point out, I from listening to him, like, well, it sounds like the mindset that, we have over here too. Hey man, listen, I see what everybody else saying, but I'm just telling you what I see. Right. And so I could look at it and be like, well, man, I think you completely misevaluated that player. And that's just based on my own. Because I think for me, when I'm arguing up here with y'all up here, I'm like, well, I know who we did homework on, who we didn't. So the reason that you're saying that. But when I see the whole people, oh, that was a complete reach, and because of this and that, well, how much homework did you do? What about that player didn't you like? Right? Like, go back, and even when we came back and we reevaluated and we regrade them after going back and doing more homework, you see, I came back with a completely different mindset from Kaden Proctor. I still said I would have picked Vega over him, but I had a different mindset, right? But then go to Caleb Douglas. I'm like, listen, went back, watched it. I understand he had a quarterback issue over there. Yes, I see a lot of things to like about it. I'm just saying, compared to the other receivers there, I do feel like he would have been lower on the draft board. See, now me and Lou completely disagree with the tight end, but look at the conviction that we have. You get what I'm saying? So just imagine if I'm a GM and he a GM. Listen, I got him this high. He got him that low. I'm still picking him how high I think he should go. You understand that? And I just wanted to, just pick brains and see if maybe, these GMs have the same mentality. Obviously, they do have the same mentality, but do we, put more emphasis on what the GM big board were as opposed to, consensus is this, is and that. I just don't like going with consensus, especially look at Jamal McCoy. There is not a single soul that's gonna come here and tell me everyone thought he was gonna fall down. Everyone on TV, it's like, yeah, he's still on the board. Day 3? No, you can't find a single soul. I don't care who would have been out here mock drafting and doing their homework. There wasn't a single soul that had that man going in round 4. Not a single soul. So, but that's just a different perspective that I want to, put out here, because I know we do our own homework and, we look at things different. But the consensus, I think a lot of people are the go along, get along crew. Oh, they got these guys high. Oh, yeah, here. This is why. Well, why you got them high? Because we still didn't put Cardinal take that high on our draft board. I'm just saying. But yeah, Vicinity Lou, anything else before we get up out of here?
My final statement is we're in overtime in game 6, 0-0. Yeah, it's been a complete dogfight in Montreal. So we in overtime, 0-0. That's my final thought. Appreciate everybody coming through though.
Yeah. Definitely about to tune into ESPN2 to watch the end of that game. Someone check on my agent Vonjo. The Magic blew a 24-point lead. And lost.
I told y'all
wine bottle that is safe tonight. There's
Pistons in 7.
A white, a dry, a sweet wine bottle that is safe tonight. So someone please check on any Orlando Magic fan you have. Someone check in on my agent. That's all I got to say. And thank you guys all for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I will see you guys Monday. Absolutely.
My last thoughts, subscribe. 39 of y'all still in the building. Hit the subscribe button. Grow the channel. Help us grow. Listen, man, this content comes at y'all 100% authentic. Y'all come over here and compare. See what I like. And Vicinity said, right before we get up out of here, compare our takes to the rest of them and see how we do. When we throw our polls, we don't run away from throwing, votes, polls, which I think, and then y'all can hold us accountable. Do we really know what we're doing, or are we just out here talking just to be talking? And, I'm just saying. So, but that's my last thought before we get out of here. Help hit the like button. Help, get us to 1,000. You know what I'm saying? And subscribe. Lou, you know what to do. Get us up out of here, my brother.
Hey, man, listen, this has been the Friday episode of the Blitz Pickup. Y'all can catch us again Monday, Wednesday, and every Friday. And when the season starts, we'll be calling the games as well. Y'all already know that. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Road to 900, 1,000, and many more years to come by doing that. We'll see y'all Monday. Pistons in 7.